Nowadays on the market, fitness coaching is mostly the same, like coach to coach, okay? If I'm somebody that's in the market that wants to get fitness help, if it's losing weight or whatever, it's basically like a bunch of clones, right? Most people are providing the same shit, right? And it's not that it's bad or it just doesn't work, it's that everyone's providing the same thing. So when everyone provides the same thing and you're commoditized, what happens is you have to reduce your price because now you're providing a very similar solution to everybody else. And this is something that basically is called commoditization in other markets, okay? So a lot of fitness coaches know how to provide fitness coaching, they know how to coach, they know how to get client success and keep them motivated, but they're doing it and their offer is built in the exact same way as everybody else. So today I'm going to be talking how you can build an offer that's actually viable from a capacity standpoint, from a unique standpoint, from a variety of other standpoints so that you can scale your offer to $50,000, $70,000, $100,000 a month. I've done that before with several other fitness coaching offers in the past. My name is Ashton. For those of you that don't know, I've personally done over $10 million in the online and in-person coaching, fitness coaching space. We spend hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on ads. So a little credibility about myself. So stay tuned. This is a longer form video. It's going to give you some insight into how you can build that offer and scale that offer up in today's economy in 2026 and moving forward in the future. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So today I'm going to be talking about how to create a $50,000 a month online fitness coaching offer and how I did it myself and how you can create an offer that actually works in today's economy and today's market in general, because we all know that things are changing. This is just a given. There's AI that's constantly getting better. There's more tactics. There's new trends that are constantly coming out. There's peptides. There's, I don't know if you've noticed this, but every couple months there's a new trend that people jump onto and people make some money with, and then, it dies down and then there's a new trend and it just keeps going again and again. For example, veganism 10 years ago, a lot of people jumped on that, made a lot of money from that. Okay. The carnivore diet recently, the animal-based, cutting board meat and fruit diet. Okay. Now there's peptides, right? These are just, examples, for example, of things that are constantly adapting. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about how you can actually do this yourself. This is going to be a long form video. Just a little bit of background on myself. I worked with hundreds of online fitness coaches before. I actually used to be an online fitness coach myself, kind of slaving away, going through the whole, routine. I'm, making not that much money, and then being able to go from, basically making around $5,000 a month to being able to make around $50K a month. Okay, with online fitness coaching, and how you could potentially do the same if you learn and have the skills. Okay, there's so many things out there. This is the confusing part, especially for a lot of, I just want to say, like, younger people, is there's so much information, and it's not that there's a lack of information, it's a lack of what do I do, lack of clarity in terms of I'm going to listen to this information and I'm actually going to implement this information. Okay, if you can get that piece down, then the rest becomes like very easy. Okay, and my goal today over the next, maybe this is an hour and a half long video, is to give you that clarity on your offer, which is insanely important. Okay, because it doesn't matter how good your acquisition is, your marketing, your content, how many followers you have. If your offer is bad, none of that matters. Okay. So let's jump into it. So like I said, this is going to be a long form video. It's going to be one of the longest on my channel. Okay. So the last 2 weeks putting this together along with my team, okay, on how to exactly structure your offer. So most coaches want to hit 20, 50, 100K a month, but they have no idea how to get to that point. The problem is they're often blind to what's really holding them back. And the worst problems are the ones you don't even know exist. Okay. The same coaches end up making decisions purely out of fear and taking the wrong actions. They get rid of processes that work, okay? They actually just a lot of times destroy systems that if they just continue to do would actually get them success. And then start implementing ones, like I said, lack of clarity that introduce chaos into their business, okay? Success quickly becomes completely up to chance, and chance that is not much in your favor. Kind of basically chaos is running your business, okay? I know I'm kind of speaking in parables. I'm going to get into a little bit more. Just before I kind of fully jump into the nitty gritty as well, I'm going to link this document below. So if you want to, if you're watching this on your laptop, go click the link. You can pull it up. You can read alongside me, or you can watch this and then you can have the document with you after as well. It's going to be linked below as well. So do what you want with it. Okay, cool. And then obviously building, a hyper successful business of any caliber, online coaching, construction, whatever, industry you're in, cannot be created by guessing. You must focus on creating mastery and excellence in your business. Okay. In this training, I'm going to reveal why most coaches will never hit the revenue goals they set, no matter how hard they work. Okay. Instead, in this video, you learn how to avoid that trap and actually increase your current MRR. Okay. While working less. Okay. I hate to use the while working less, but I'm going to use while working less because a lot of the times you're doing actions in your day-to-day online coaching journey that don't need to be there, and you can actually be working less. Okay? My request from you, okay? Pay attention. Shut your phone off. Get rid of any distractions. Start taking some notes. Okay? You are the only one responsible for your successes or failure. Okay? No one else. If you cannot sit still and focus for a few hours to get the answers you need to live your dream life, the simple truth is you just don't deserve it. Okay? So to understand why you can't scale, we have to start with the biggest lie in the business world. Okay? Number one, focus on leverage. Okay? So over the last few years, it seems like every guru online has been constantly preaching that hard work will solve every issue within your business and that you just need to do more volume. Okay, you may have heard this. Do more cold DMs, do more cold calls, do more content, post more, post more, post more. Okay? More volume. And there's a huge emphasis on how many hours you work and how much input you put in every single day. Okay? And it's a good thing. Like, working hard is good. I am not opposed to working hard at all. Okay? But there's this culture around working hard. There's this culture around, oh, I work 12 hours a day. I'm tougher than you. Okay? And there's a philosopher, it may have been Nietzsche or one of the other, philosophers around that time, but if basically, I'm going to paraphrase what he said that if you work insanely hard or you sacrifice something for nothing, then like, what the fuck was the point of that? And that's the exact same thesis with this. Okay. It's often a coping mechanism for fear. You don't have, like I said, clarity. So instead, you are doing a million different things, volume, instead of spending the mental energy to slow down, zoom out. Okay, think about your systems, think about what's going on, actually analyze what's happening. Okay, to see what you're doing. Okay, and the simple truth is you can't get rich by working hard. We all know this. Okay, if you think that's the case, go look at farmers, for example. Go look at laborers. Go look at people who, work with their backs. Okay? The whole point of becoming a business owner is to disconnect your time from your income to maximize the freedom during the short time we have on this planet. It isn't to be a glorified employee, slaving away all day, only to be proud of wasting hours of your life that it took another coach to do the same thing in a few minutes. And the same thing is happening right now, and it's kind of scary with AI. Okay? People are doing things super quick with AI. That may scare you if you're working insanely hard. And then, imagine you're working 12 hours a day doing a task that takes a coach literally 5 minutes a day to do because he has an AI agent doing it for him. Just imagine that. That kind of sucks. Okay? And I can tell you this with absolute conviction, making $50K a month is massively easier than making $5K a month. When I was doing $5 to $7K a month, my day-to-day was like super hectic. Okay, I was focusing on a lot of volume. 3 to 4 hours daily on client work and fulfillment, 1 to 2 hours of sales for clients. Okay, I was actually doing some sales for some of my clients as well. 2 to 3 hours daily of sales and cold outreach for myself. Okay, 2 hours daily of refining my marketing machine, making more ads, adjusting emails, 2 hours daily of learning. I'd always try to get more skills. Okay, more. But the system was massively capped. And once I reached 10K a month, my business basically almost collapsed. Okay, and 10K a month, genuinely, if your business collapses at 10K a month, you have issues. So I realized this. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Okay. And taking on more clients for me at that time was like trying to force water into a bucket that was on the verge of overflowing. Why don't we stop, take some water out of the bucket, repair the bucket, and then put the water back in? Okay. Nowadays, my day-to-day is busy, but it's more intense. Okay. It's like going to the gym for an hour and doing an intense session rather than going to the gym for 5 hours and doing a 5-hour arm workout like Rich Piana. Okay. Okay. Everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. If you want to increase the output from those 24 hours, you need leverage. Okay. A system that allows you to multiply your effort. Okay. If everybody has the same amount of time, but there's some people who have been able to achieve more with the same time, does that mean that those people have more time, or does that mean that those people who've succeeded have a better system? Leverage. Okay? You're putting something in and you're getting out bigger than what you put in. It's very simple. Okay? It's a lever. Okay? Physics. So 24 hours, how most people spend it, outcome 10K a month. This was me at the time. 24 hours of inputs, potentially ways to get more leverage as well nowadays in 2026 with AI, different things. Okay. Leveraged outcome, leverage outputs, outcome 100K a month, potentially more. Okay. The difference between the guy making 10K a month and the guy making 100K a month isn't that he's working 10 times harder. In fact, he's probably, likely working less because he's built a leverage system that allows him to do so. Okay. Hard work can 100%, if you're below 10K a month and you're just starting out, okay, don't necessarily think that you have to apply leverage. Don't think that you have to be like, oh, I'm not going to work hard and I'm just going to like relax, kick my feet up and think all the time. That's not going to get you anywhere, okay? 0 to like 10, 20K a month, 100%. Hard work, nose to the grindstone, learn the lessons, etc. But past that, it becomes futile. Okay, you're playing a child's game. You got to grow up. Okay, you got especially, this is the thing about it, especially in the online space. Okay? Especially, there are so many other coaches trying to do the exact same thing you're doing. And it's one thing if you have an in-person business, like you're an in-person construction company, for example. You're limited to the competition in your area. Okay, meaning if I'm Bob's Construction located in Little Rock, Arkansas, my competition is the only other 10 construction companies in Little Rock, Arkansas. Okay? But if you're an online fitness coach, your competition could be in the Philippines. Your competition could be in New York. Your competition is online. Okay? 2 billion people use Meta, Facebook or Instagram every single day. Okay? So you have to be a lot more vigilant, okay, precise with your time and beat leverage. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay. You need to find ways to leverage your inputs. Your offer is one of the primary levers you can use to magnify your efforts. And it's something 95% of people get wrong. A strong offer leads to higher close rates from the same number of calls, while a weak one forces you to rely on volume just to survive. First step is your offer. Okay. So what kind of offer do you have to create? Okay. What I call it, other people call it this too. I didn't come up with this, but create a build and release style offer. This is the main sort of offers that I see do the best. Okay, and I'm explaining to you kind of what they are. So since COVID, what I've noticed, okay, this is just, market analysis, but thousands of people, especially in the fitness space, because like for example, the coaching space is mainly dominated by like fitness coaches. That's like the main kind of sort of person within the coaching space. Yes, there's wellness. Yes, there's like holistic. There's business coaching, which is a decently sized, but like coaching is like very dominated by fitness coaching, like lose weight. Okay. It's a huge market, the weight loss industry. Okay. So pretty much what I noticed about this industry is since COVID, thousands of gym owners, in-person coaches, in-person fitness people, okay, during COVID, they can't go in person. So what do they do? A lot of them went online. Okay. And basically anyone who had any fitness experience, was like, oh, I'm a fitness coach online now. Okay. Resulting in a massive increase of online fitness coaches. So what happens in this kind of market? Okay. There were, hundreds of thousands of coaches, hundreds of I'm going to call them coaches, but like people who knew a little bit about fitness,
who understood, you know, like the basics of how to get in shape and thought that they could sell it, so they went online. Okay, and this kind of created a divergence. Like if you look at any sort of biological ecosystem, when there's an influx of population, okay, let's say there's a squirrel population and there's 100 squirrels, okay, now there's 10,000 squirrels. Okay, so there's 900, and yeah, there's holy shit, 9,900 squirrels added into that population. Okay, now for those same squirrels to compete, they have to be a lot better. Okay, so now we're seeing the same thing. The top 5% of coaches end up controlling 95% of the market, while the remaining 95% of coaches are left fighting for scraps. Okay, with so many clones in the market, everyone starts to look the same, sound the same, make the same content, sell the same, okay, do the same fucking objection handling things, okay, resulting in that 95% of coaches being commoditized. Okay, commoditized is basically, commoditization is when you provide the same product, so the only way to compete is technically through pricing. For example, if I get gold from Australia or if I get gold from the US, the gold is the same. Gold is gold. Okay, so if I'm buying gold, I'm going to get gold the cheapest I could get it, because at the end of the day, the product's the same. So if I'm coming in and I'm thinking, what fitness coach should I work with? I'm somebody who wants to lose some weight. Okay, I want to get in shape. I'm looking around. They're all the same. So who am I going to go with? The one that's the cheapest. If they're all constant, if that kind of makes sense. Okay? Commoditization. We see this in commodity markets. Okay, go online, pause the video, go look at commodity markets. Okay? Gold, oil, timber, wheat. Okay? There you go. So what ends up happening is what I call the commodity trap. Okay? So your marketing, your sales, these are things that are commoditized. So you're kind of sounding the same. Everything's the same. Your offer's the same. Okay. Your content's the same. So you then have to price competitively. Okay. And now that you're pricing competitively, people are now buying solely based off of the price. Okay. And now that people are buying solely based off of the price, what happens? Okay. If I go buy a car just based off of it being the cheapest car, am I in love with that car, or am I just buying it because it's the cheapest car? Or let's say I go and find a girl. I'm going to give you another example. Let's say I go and I'm in the dating market. I want to go find a girl to get married to. And I go find the girl who is just like, she's just the girl with the, richest dad, for example. Okay. Just choose a factor, any factor. Okay. Meaning you don't have a high emotional commitment when you're purely basing it off of one factor, especially with price. Okay. Price is a factor of emotional investment. Okay. That leads to bad client success, people who are not committed, especially in fitness coaching, right? At the end of the day, you're selling commitment. People need to be committed. Okay. Your program doesn't really matter. So if you're charging not a lot, people are not committed. They're not going to get success. Okay. This results in, you being like your time being diluted servicing clients. Okay. Because they're not committed and you're like trying to play catch up. You don't have any case studies. You have less revenue. Okay. Less case studies, harder to get future clients. Okay. Then you got to price your, price drop, like lower your price again. And then you're kind of back to the top again. Okay. So it's this vicious fucking cycle that happens. And this is like an evergreen thing. Okay. This is purely evergreen, because with every trend that happens and every kind of market within the section of fitness coaching, if you're a peptide coach, if you're a woman, mom, dad coach, whatever fitness coach you are, it happens. Okay. When there's no real difference between offers, the only thing left to compete on is price. And once you start down that path, it's a race to the bottom. Okay. These coaches offer the same services, structured the same way, priced a little lower, hoping and praying that it's enough to make sales. Instead of relying on hope, you need to move away from being a commoditized service provider. Okay. You have to remember that the competition only exists when you are comparable. As you move up the ladder and start creating something truly valuable, fewer people are competing at that level. Toyota competes with Honda, Hyundai, Nissan, and pretty much any other mass market budget car brand. However, Ferrari doesn't compete with Toyota. They only have a small handful of competitors. Okay? And a lot of the times they don't really even have competitors, because if someone's buying a Ferrari 812 Superfast, that's a $500,000, $700,000, $800,000 car, right? They're probably they wanted that car probably for the past 5 years. They're committed. Okay? Because they spent the time creating the product itself and creating one of the best solutions in the marketplace. Therefore, they aren't compared on price and are able to charge based on the value provided, not who can go the lowest. Okay? So your goal is to do the same thing. Build the best possible solution. One that bridges the entire gap for your prospects from where they are right where they are to where they want to be, not the one that is the cheapest. Okay? So transformative offers is kind of what I'm leading to here. Okay? So bridging the entire gap. So at the end of the day, you have to understand that fitness coaching is, or any coaching in general, is providing a transformation. Any business technically is kind of providing a transformation. Even like food. You go to a restaurant, you go to McDonald's, and that, like, McDonald's is providing a transformation. They're transforming you from like hungry and, you know, maybe a little bit like anxious, you feel like low dopamine, to high dopamine, satiated. Transformation, even though it's not a huge transformation, let's say. Okay? Fitness, for example, is the same thing. Okay? You are transforming people from out of shape to in shape, or holistic coaching, not spiritually aligned to spiritually aligned, whatever that is. Okay? Okay? Nobody wants Facebook ads or a meal plan. They want to make enough revenue to have freedom, or they want to get a six-pack. The goal is to get them all the way to that point, not just bridge a section of it. Okay? A lot of coaches only deliver a portion of it, for example. This is like a huge error that a lot of coaches make with offer creation. Because what they do is they only solve a portion of the entire transformation. They look at the market, they say, okay, I'm helping people lose weight, but I'm only going to provide like a meal plan. What the hell is a meal plan going to do for somebody that wants to lose weight? Nothing. Okay? Maybe it's going to get them 5% of the way. Okay? So what you need to do is you need to identify every key obstacle your prospect faces and then build a solution that removes each one. Okay? So for example, out of shape to in shape. Okay? What is every problem that somebody could face? Okay, they're not sticking to their meal plan. Okay, they don't even have a meal plan. Okay, they don't have accountability. Okay, they don't have the habits, the tracking, the mental aspect, whatever, the workouts. Okay? Now, how do I build solutions that solve for each of those so I make it undeniable that they're going to get to that outcome? Okay, so very simple. Ask yourself, what are the obstacles that would keep your prospect in their painful situation from going all the way to the desired situation? A lot of you guys have not done this, and it's very base level, monotonous work that's boring as hell to do. I don't even like doing this stuff myself. It's not fun. Okay? But you got to do it. Okay? You have to do it. It's like people who go and run ads before making an ICP document. You need an ICP document. Okay? So example, what obstacles keep an overweight person from losing weight? Okay, no structured training or nutrition. Okay, can we make custom workout and meal plans? Lack of clarity. Okay, knowledge, one-on-one coaching, maybe video assets, SMS support, no accountability. Can we do weekly check-ins? Is there monthly check-ins? Okay, is there a group call? Is there progress reviews? Let's say they can't stick to habits. Can you have a habit formation system? Like triggers, like small wins, like little prizes. Okay, poor mindset, self-image. Okay, can you incorporate mental coaching? Okay, one of my biggest clients, okay, he does it's around like 100, 150K a month. And one of the biggest things, when I went and saw him, one of the biggest things that me and him actually talked about, I'm like, how are you so good at what you do? Like how do you actually, and he's a fitness coach, how do you deliver such a good transformation? And he said, dude, it's all mindset. And it sounds so corny to say, but it's true. Like when he starts working with a client, that's the first thing he does. It's just all mindset. It's all, let's rewire your brain to get yourself into that fit person already before you've already achieved that. Okay? Okay, poor recovery. Okay, sleep protocols, recovery plan, confusion around supplements. Okay, lifestyle conflicts. For example, a lot of people cheat on their diets because they are like, I'm going out with my friends and, I'm probably going to cheat. Okay, can you make a system or an SOP for them to go out so that they can maybe go out a couple times a week, maybe once or twice a week, and actually stay on plan? Can you do that? Injuries or physical pain. Can you make a system? Okay. I can't tell you the whole thing because I don't know your business, but maybe this is giving you some sort of insight into how you can make the entire transformation for your clients, okay, to make it unreasonable for them to not make that entire transformation, okay? So you're taking them from X to Y, okay? You're delivering, this is the thesis, full transformation, okay? So very easy way for you to do this as well, right? You can list their current state. So what's their current state? They're fat, they're depressed, they don't like their body, whatever. What's their desired state? They feel good, they look good, they, catch themselves in the mirror and flex, okay? And then what are all the things in the middle? And that's kind of what we went through, okay? So list it all out, list the failure scenarios, and create mechanisms to solve each one. This is super duper important, okay? The next thing is focus on tangible value and real growth. So too many coaches choose what problems to solve and how to solve them based on what others are doing. This is a huge thing, especially if you are somebody who is on social media. What I mean by this is if you're an online coach and you post content, you probably scroll from time to time. You probably open up your phone and scroll, and you maybe see some other fitness coaches. Oh, what funnel is he doing? Oh, what ads is he doing? Oh, even if it's not conscious, you start to kind of mimic other coaches, okay? And it totally ruins everything, okay? So it ruins the entire process of creating a unique high-value offer, okay? Because they start to build with a preconceived idea of what their offer should look like, okay? What you have to understand is that 95% of coaches are struggling. Like I said before, the average fitness coach doesn't make that much money, makes around $3,000 a month. So why would you copy and take the risk of accidentally copying an average coach? And you can't tell because a lot of these coaches have huge followings and they're not making any money. And you may think, oh yeah, this guy's doing really well. Oh yeah, I'm going to copy him. But he's not doing well. I know I have worked with so many people who have 250,000 followers, 600, 700,000 followers, but they're not making any money. Okay? So why would you spin that roulette wheel? Just don't. Just logically think this through with me because at the end of this, you will have clarity. Trust me. Okay? Innovate with me. So stop looking at others, trust your own expertise and problem-solving ability to build out a complete solution. Focus on client success and build a program that makes it unreasonable for clients to not succeed. Okay? Each solution you create should deliver clear, tangible outcomes client can undeniably see and feel. Okay? Fat loss, noticeable strength gains, not vague ideas like mindset shifts. This is a big one. Okay? Make it clear. Like, this is what I'm doing for you. Okay? With every solution, your prospects must feel like they are buying value at a massive discount. Okay? To get to that point, you need to keep asking yourself one question. How can I make it completely unreasonable for my clients to not achieve what I'm promising them? Kind of like what we said before. Okay? Then you can stack value, add more solutions to your mechanism, reduce the time it takes to get results, improve your onboarding, shorten the time it takes to see a return, just add more value. Okay? But you don't want to copy. Okay? That's like a huge, horrible thing that you should not be doing. Okay? When your offer is built to address every obstacle along the way and solve them in the most effective manner, clients will stay longer, pay more, and actually get results because it's impossible not to win. Okay? Next thing is pricing based off of value. A lot of coaches have a hard time doing this because they're under the assumption of like, oh, I'm going to charge what I'm worth. Well, what are you worth? Right? You're worth $7,500. You're worth $10,000. Whoa, pricey. Like, That's crazy. Okay. Like, it's not objectively crazy. Okay. But thinking that you're worth something because your mentor told you that you're worth it, or that you think intrinsically that you're like this spiritual, oh yeah, I don't discount myself. Okay. Well, let's understand this. Okay. Your job as a service provider isn't to provide a service, but it is to provide a transformation. Okay, therefore, it is up to you to determine the duration that transformation will take. Okay, most people charge 1K a month for meal plan coaching and are surprised when after the first month people cancel because they don't see a clear path to their transformation. Okay, people want to buy, they don't want to rent. It's a big thing. If your program has no defined endpoint, it creates uncertainty. This is where time delay perception kicks in. When there's no clear timeline, there's no clear path to the outcome. It's all outcome based. Okay. Your program should have a clearly defined timeline with a specific end outcome. A well-structured offer should have a defined duration and a specific transformation. That's what gives clients confidence. Okay. So at the end of the day, your price is correlated to your transformation. So, for example, if I am helping people lose 100 pounds over the course of a year, I want to be charging a lot more than if it is 10 pounds over the course of 2 months. Okay. If I am a doctor and I'm helping somebody get cancer free, that's a big transformation. Okay. You're going from like almost dying to not dying. Probably going to be quite expensive. It's a big transformation. Okay. So your price is a function of the value of your transformation. Okay. And that value largely is intrinsic to your customers, if that makes sense. Okay. So the reason people churn is because they aren't getting the results. So you have to keep in mind the two variables to achieving the outcome: activities and timeline. Okay. Activities, right? Workout plan. A workout plan won't get X prospect to lose 30 pounds if all they eat is fast food. Okay. So solve the issue. And then the timeline it takes to lose the 30 pounds. Okay. So you must map out both the activities and the time required to achieve the outcome. Okay. So you know the transformation, you know the things that they have to do to get the transformation, and then you have to know the time that each function will take or not take. Okay? Each function of the transformation. It's like a math equation. Okay? So you gotta it's like a full mapping out process. Okay? Get a whiteboard, invest in a whiteboard. I have a whiteboard, map it out. Okay? Get clear on this. Okay? Estimate the cost of each component individually, then calculate the total cost of bridging the entire gap over the full duration of the transformation to determine your pricing. Okay? So like, for example, starting point, they want to get in bodybuilder shape. Okay? $250 gym membership. Okay? It's only delivering somewhat of a transformation. Okay? Workout. Okay, that's a little bit more. Accountability, a little bit more. The full pantheon of the plan, okay, that's a full thing. That's gonna be $7,500. Okay, so you're pricing it based off of what's in the program and then the value of the transformation, if that makes sense. Okay, and then rather than 1.5K a month, if you know the process and the outcome will take 5 months, do 1.5K times 5, and then do 7.5K upfront for 5 months. This is just program it. Okay, because like one of the stupidest things, and I still see coaches doing this, is they're doing like the MRR play. Like they're pretending they're software. They're doing like some like $250 a month, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, whatever it is a month. Doesn't even matter how much it is a month. Okay, but the problem is that it is on a monthly basis. Okay, and people don't really want to pay like monthly at the end of the day. Okay, because they want to think about it like they're buying the transformation. Okay, like I'm giving you $7,500. Okay, while I am emotionally the most invested or like very high invested. Okay, it's the easiest for you to collect the cash as well if you think about it, because buyer consumer behavior spikes 24 to 48 hours right around the time that they buy, in that kind of window. So why are you pushing the payments off to when they are less invested? They probably are going to feel a little bit like less clarity the more they kind of do a process as well, because there's going to be pain. They're going to be like, this is a lot of work. So why are you doing that? Just charge the money up front and say that, hey, this is the transformation. This is how much it is. I'm helping you lose 30 pounds over 5 months. This is how much it is upfront. Boom. Okay. Then you charge it as the upfront payment. Okay. When you charge high price upfront, what happens? You have more revenue for sure. You have higher quality committed customers. Okay. More money upfront, more emotional commitment. Okay. You have no churn during that initial period because they've already paid. Better results for your customers because they're more invested, better case studies, and now it's easier for you to get more clients because you have more case studies. It's very simple, okay? It's very simple, okay? And at the end of the day, you are technically providing more value because you're selling a transformation. You're not renting out your house, you're selling them the house, if that makes sense. The transformation, okay? If you want to do payment plans, if you know, this is when you get into like sales linguistics and stuff like that. When it's like, you know, when it's like, okay, you're on a sales call and they can't do the full amount. Okay, fair enough. Do a payment plan, okay. But for most people, like you're pitching the 7.5K up front. You're not pitching, $300 a month, and then they pay twice and then dip. Okay. And you should never be underpricing yourself. The price should always reflect the value of the outcome, as price is a communicator of value in itself. Okay. Hormozy 3 wines example. Okay. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but basically there were 3 wines. There was a cheap, there was an average, and there was a super expensive wine. And people ranked them worst to best in the same order. Basically they were told the pricing of the wine before. They ranked them, and everybody ranked the expensive wine the highest, the middle wine the middle, and then the cheapest wine the worst. Meanwhile, all of the wines were the same. Okay, so you want to keep this in mind as well, because you want people to value your solution and take it serious. At the end of the day, we want people to get in shape, be healthy, and like actually, you know, like we want to help people as fitness coaches. Okay, like it's a very noble thing to do, like helping people with their health. Like this is a very noble thing to do. If you think about other business models, I was actually talking with my business partner about this. If you think about other business models like construction or landscaping, for example, let me just take landscaping. You're cutting somebody's lawn, you're trimming their trees, okay? Yeah, you're providing value. You know, you're making their house look nicer. Okay, maybe, you know, increasing the property value a little bit. But if you compare that to fitness coaching, for example, you are like genuinely making somebody's life and existence just way better. Like I have made a fitness transformation myself. My health has increased, my energy has increased, I feel better, I look better. My life is way better. Okay? This is a very noble thing to do. So we want people to be committed. And this is just a way to get people to be committed and get success, because that's what we're doing. This is not like a make money. I know a lot of people frame it as like a fitness coaching is the easiest way to make X amount of money. Like if your mindset is like that, especially in a health niche like fitness coaching, you should start to question, okay? Your goal is to help people. And by an offset of that, yes, you can get rich. You can make a lot of money. I've seen a lot of people make a lot of money with it, okay? But should not be your number one, okay? So same thing, cheap prices. You get viewed as a cheap service, lower perceived likelihood of achievement, lower commitment, higher churn. You can't afford, you know, talent to reinvest back in your business. Okay, it's just pain in the ass. So we are not here to be like everyone else and offer the typical meal plan, check-in, workout. We're here to build and have the highest quality option available. Okay, and then the next step is downsell to an upsell retention. So during the initial period, you need to build and release systems in their process and journey. So like I said, that's $7,500 for 5 months, for example. You don't have to copy that, but like roughly, okay? After the upfront period ends, so after that 5 months ends, you'll need to offer these systems at a lower priced recurring rate, okay? These systems will provide ongoing value and address the new problems that will arise as your clients continue their journey after. This shifts you out of the oversaturated service provider lane and into infrastructure creation. Okay. Using this model, you're not doing the work forever. You build it once, release it, and let it run. So how it works is you have your initial state that somebody's in when they start working with you. They're out of shape. You bring them in shape within that 5 months. Okay, great. A lot of people aren't going to achieve the full transformation in that time frame. Okay, it's just kind of part of the process. Some people will, some people won't. But there will be a lot of people who will or won't get success, but then still will want to work with you. And then that's when you just downsell them and say, hey, pay me 500, pay me 700 a month, and then they're on MRR. That's how I've always structured it. That's the best way to do it. Okay? And it's such an easy pitch because they've already given you so much money up front. Okay? And for them, $500 a month is pretty straightforward. This is like the Alex Hormozi gym launch model where he had 1,000 people paying him $3.2K a month. Okay, with gym launch. He charged 16 grand for 16 weeks up front. After the 4 months, after the 16 weeks, it was 3.2K a month. Right? So he kind of downselled it. It was a very easy sell for him. His churn was less than 1%. So as long as you are continually providing more value through the systems, you'll be able to retain them on this lower MRR for a significant amount of time. Okay? The moment the value dips below the price is when people will stop buying or when existing customers cancel or refund. That's all it is. And this is like, the value is not like objective value, it's subjective value. It's what they perceive. Okay? Like, for example, people will do the plan for a bit, feel good, they'll get endorphins, and then they'll associate that value with you. Okay? You want them to be in that state, for example. If they don't do the plan for a little bit, if their accountability is kind of off, then intrinsically the value in their brain is going to go down, they're going to cancel. Makes sense. So if properly executed, you will retain clients on the lower MRR for months or even years and end up making more with the back-end automated systems than you did from the initial upfront payment. Okay? This is how Hormozi did it. Okay? Like I said, he was selling, so he did the 16K licensed upfront for 16K for 16 weeks, 1K a week for 16 weeks. And then he would like sell, hey, you still need all the up-to-date data about like Facebook ads and like the sales scripts and like the sales training calls or whatever. Or maybe you want to still be in the community with other gym owners, 3.2K a month. Boom. Okay? So after implementing everything covered thus far, myself, prospects, went from complaining about $1,500 a month to paying 6 to 15K packages up front. So here's one of my clients. I know we text on WhatsApp, very old school, but real ballers know that WhatsApp is for the big dogs. So here, he texted me 2K yesterday, 6K today. Okay. 21G day for him. Okay. I'm at 61K for the month. This was like, a little bit into the month as well. This was, I think, like halfway through the month. Okay. He said, let's go 2K Suzanne, 2K Sharon, 2K Laura, or 6K Laura, 3K Rob, one day. Boom. Right. This is just one of my clients who's a fitness coach. So from 1.5K a month to 10K upfront offer, how do you do this? Okay, this is kind of what we're going to be getting into and how you can get this going. So before we move on to the next stage, I just want you to kind of understand the thesis of the first part and understand like the basis of what you have to understand is transformation is what you're selling. Understand that your price should be based off of the transformation, not like some intrinsic, like, I'm worth this much. Think about what value you're providing. If I'm helping somebody lose 30 pounds, what value is that providing to their life? Okay, well, now they can do a lot of things. Now they can go to the beach, feel good. What is that? Get in their minds a bit. What do you think that's worth to them? Okay? You may have to talk to people, customers, get data. Okay? So this is where you have to understand this. Then we're going to move on to the next stage. I'm going to have a sip of water. Okay. So from 1.5K a month to 10K upfront offer, how do you do it? So no one could easily replicate my offer. Stop being a commodity, premium pricing. You have great profit margins. You have ability to afford, myself from most of the business and afford superstar talent. You get superstar talent, better insights because you have better talent working for you. It's a flywheel. You get better people working for your business. Your business gets better, okay? And you get more insights that can be funneled back into ads, that can be funneled back into content, that can be funneled into better ways to get success for your clients. Higher closing rate as an offset of that, more people helped, more people serviced, okay? So how do we structure our fulfillment so it's scalable? So now that we have a properly structured offer, we need to properly structured way to scale it. So most coaches never think about the scalability of their processes. However, if we aren't continually increasing our leverage as we scale, it's only a matter of time until we hit another ceiling. So the following section will cover how we can structure our fulfillment as a whole so that we have enough leverage to continually scale. So number one, minimizing chaos at all costs. Everyone knows the quote, simple scales, complex fails. Most people have no idea what that actually means for fitness coaches. So in reality, it isn't about avoiding complexity, but the chaos that comes from introducing new processes, new tools, new products without the proper infrastructure is crazy. So you want to avoid introducing new things and reduce the frequency at which you introduce new processes at all costs. And this is one of my main theses as well with ads. Like our company spends anywhere from 1 to 300K a month on ads across our clients. I don't even have that many clients right now as I'm speaking. But if you actually think about it, with those ads, technically, the first thing we do is we do a very simple ad structure. And then after that, if we're finding a bottleneck somewhere, then we add in complexity to the part where the bottleneck is. It's the same thing, okay? So most operational breakdowns don't come from the complexity of what you do. They come from undocumented steps, inconsistent delivery, and introducing too many moving parts too fast. The less we're able to predict the future, the less control we have over it. So you should always document every SOP, process, and mechanism, as one missing SOP will eventually lead to more missing SOPs, more chaos, more problems. So never start a new procedure before the whole workflow is documented, and never start more than one new procedure per month. Okay, especially with acquisition with ads, very important. Okay, you want to keep things simple in the beginning and only add later. Okay, it's very simple, but a lot of people just don't do it. So one great mechanism in one offer will always be 10 mediocre ones bundled up. Simplicity. So always do it better before you do it more. This is a huge thing. Okay, better before you do it more. Number two, feedback and review cycle. So most of the new mechanisms you'll introduce won't be perfect or even worth keeping. Okay, mechanisms. What I mean by that is, let's say you introduce a new way to do check-in calls, or you introduce a community for your clients. I don't know. Okay, it's perfectly okay. Okay, however, what's not okay is letting these broken systems just be left unchecked. So one flawed mechanism left alone creates bottlenecks, confusion, and eventually breaks everything around it. Okay, example, you roll out a new client onboarding sequence that looks good on paper. However, after a week, clients still ask basic questions and skip steps. Okay, during the 7 days, there will be indicators on whether the system is or isn't doing its job. Based on the feedback, you shift, rebuild, and undocument the updated version. The most important part is that everything needs to be reviewed and tracked. Leaving things unchecked creates confusion, wrong decisions, okay, and you end up making the wrong moves. With every new introduced system, you should have a week-long review cycle. Treat it like a stress testing bridge. And if you're like, this is very, I just want to be clear with this as well. Like, if you're somebody that's small and you're like a very like intermediary kind of coach, doing below 50K a month, this is less applicable to you. But if you're doing 6 figures a month plus, this is definitely applicable to you because you have more downside. If you fuck up one of your processes that's working somewhat good and it becomes working less somewhat good, then you have more downside, if that makes sense. So keep that in mind. Gaining max fulfillment leverage. So our goal isn't to become trillionaires and die with money without actually living life. The only reason why money is useful in the first place is because it allows us to fully experience our time on this planet with as little limitations as possible. However, since our time on this planet is limited, every second we spend building a new mechanism must bring us infinite returns even when we stop creating them. Okay? A good rule of thumb is that if you can't see yourself doing the activities you currently are in 7 years' time, you need to find a way to stop doing them now. Example, a one-on-one call with you to help you structure your operations versus sitting down and creating this document and media asset. Okay? So for example, I could sit down, like I personally could sit down with you right now and say, hey, here's how you can make a better offer. Here's how you can make a better operational system. One-on-one calls this, your fulfillment's capped at 100K a month, tell you your capacity, or I can record this video and however many infinite amount of people could watch it. Okay. First option turns one input into one output, and the second option is infinite. Okay. There's no limit on how many people can watch this video. The biggest companies were only able to scale to where they are today because of how much leverage they gained in their operations and fulfillment. Okay. For example, like my background is in marketing. I'm a marketer at the end of the day. I'm an ad man, or as they called the madman. If you watch the show, it's actually pretty interesting show. But a lot of the times with ads, we go and we run ads and we get a lot of clients, but then they can't support the clients. They don't have, a proper sales team. They're taking one-to-one calls with these clients every single week. Okay, well, how are you going to take 30 one-to-one calls a week that are an hour long each, keep track of it all, while taking sales calls, while making content, while filming ads? How are you going to do that? Okay? Probably can't. And this is what happens a lot, especially with when we introduce acquisition into the play. Things get fucked up because there's so much more volume and chaos. Okay? So there's four levels of leverage that you can implement into your fulfillment. Okay? Permissionless and permissioned. The first level is labor leverage. Okay? Even though labor leverage is the least effective form of leverage, the smartest organizations have the most employees because they also focused on having the smartest employees, the quality rather than the quantity. So how smart your team is will directly dictate the level of leverage you can access with it. Okay? I'm just going to say straight up, if you're watching this and you're below 50K a month, you probably don't need somebody. You probably don't. Usually when it comes to hiring, my philosophy behind that is apply oil to where the engine is squeaking or the car is squeaking. So like you're going to run your system and you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm just having such a horrible time with these one-to-one check-in calls. Okay. So, can you outsource content? No, you still have to be the face of it. Okay, cool. Well, why don't we hire a coach to do these calls for you? These check-in calls. Okay. Maybe we give them 10% of revenue plus a base. Okay. Who knows? There's a couple ways to structure that. Hiring cheap talent means you're saving money at the cost of gaining leverage. Just like one of the best things you can do is just hire somebody that's good. Like pay more. Like it's like people are trying to go to the Philippines. They're trying to go to South America to hire talent because it's super cheap and it's really bad. And maybe they are okay. Even like AI, I find AI is like that. AI is like really good. The time I'm recording this is like, almost April 2026. And like AI is really good, but a lot of the times it's kind of an equivalent business mindset of like getting some cheap Filipino or cheap South American VA to do like some labor work, even though it's not bad. Like they can do that, but like you're not gaining like massive stride. If that makes sense. Okay. The second level of leverage is capital. So capital leverage simply means leveraging money to make more money. Okay. So like ads, for example. Okay. The third is media and code leverage. Media and code is anything such as video, software, AIs, SOPs, things that run without anybody having to monitor it. Okay. Media and code fulfillment are the highest forms of leverage for two major reasons. No marginal cost of replication. You gain the ability to create assets one time and then distribute them at an unlimited number of times with no time or financial cost. Just total, open the gates. Okay? It becomes extremely scalable. Any form of media can be viewed infinite amount of times technically. The only capacity is the capacity of the platform it's on technically, which is probably huge. I can distribute this YouTube video thousands of times without having to spend any time or money creating it ever again. Years ago, to give the same presentation, my best option would have been to go to a lecture hall or an auditorium and talk to a few hundred people at best. But now, maybe this will get 1,000 views, 2,000 views, who knows, okay? As Taylor Walt says, broke people do the right things, rich people do the right things, and wealthy people own the right things. Okay, media assets. So the newest fortunes are being made with this type of leverage because of how effective it is at scale. Okay, like Joe Rogan is a billionaire. Okay, he got acquired from Spotify. Permissionless leverage. So with labor leverage, someone must decide to follow you. With capital leverage, someone must decide to give you money to leverage, or you have to decide to give the money. Media and code, however, are great equalizers of leverage. Anyone can create YouTube videos, podcasts without needing any initial capital or a team behind them to do so. Okay, they're permissionless. You just make it and it goes. Okay, Naval Ravikant, if you don't know who this is, go read his book. Very interesting book. Every entrepreneur should read his book. Very, very interesting stuff. I've taken a lot of concepts and actually put it into this document. But go read his book. But he said, code and media are permissionless leverage. They're the leverage behind the newly rich. You create software and media that works for you while you sleep. Okay. However, what I've noticed is the magic really happens when you combine all forms of leverage. Okay, combining all forms of leverage means taking just the minimum but highest output labor, combining it with capital for marketing, advertising, and scaling, and then adding in lots of coded media such as podcasts or content to get you out there. Okay, you can combine these. There's nothing saying you can't. There's no law. Okay, if you can do the same and utilize all forms of leverage correctly, you can scale incredibly quick. Okay, you can use all. Okay, you don't need any money really to make code and media. Okay, but like running ads, you need money. Hiring people, you need money. Okay, cool. So now let's decide on your fulfillment model. So this is where we're going to get into the nitty gritty. So we want to get as close to having a zero marginal cost of replication so that we are able to take on the highest number of clients possible without needing to proportionally scale the operations behind it. If you're stuck needing more people as you gain more clients, you need to rethink your deliverables and figure out how you can gain more leverage. Okay, you should be able to run your business solo to 50K a month. I'm 100%. I believe that 100%, especially like online fitness coaching. You should be able to do it. That's only 10 clients a month at $5,000. That is one client every 3 days. That's not that bad. Really isn't. Okay. However, since we need to care about being the best solution for our clients and getting them results, we will need to balance leverage and results. So like the most leveraged form of coaching is like selling a course, okay? Because you're selling pure media and code. You're just selling them like videos that they watch, information, and they go through it, and you can get millions of people in there, okay? But like done for you in person, one-to-one, it's limited. And then in the middle of that, okay, like a blend, consulting, like a little bit of like done with you rather than done for you or do it yourself. Okay. That's kind of where you want to be in a sense. It's harder to sell courses given the fact that it's a course and people value the coaching and the accountability. So you want to blend the two together and you want to get these people results. This is where we get into the thing about, does courses give people results? I think that it's very much so dependent. But I think for fitness, you need accountability. You need a level of human touch point, and you can incorporate some course material for sure. Okay? So you can be leveraged and not get your clients results, but you won't be in business in a few years. You can get results but not be leveraged, and you won't be able to help a significant number of people, okay, or make any money, which is exactly why the way we model our fulfillment isn't coaching or consulting alone, okay? It's a blend. So we do 20% done for you. So this is program design, so custom training, nutrition setup. So this is like custom towards them. Okay. 60% is done with you. So this is the accountability. This is the weekly check-ins. This is the form coaching. Okay. Like, here, am I doing my reps correctly? Okay. This is habit coaching. This is daily support, right? DMs, voice notes, whatever, quick wins. And the rest is do it yourself. So this is training execution, meal logging, whatever, this is things that can be done with media or code. Okay. You can get people to log things in Google Sheets, build a software for that. You can use a CRM for that. You can get people to watch videos. And the way it looks is it is like a bell curve, right? There's more in the middle in that kind of center done with you coaching and then the rest on the sides. Okay. This is the way I've always structured it. I think it's the best. I think it's the most scalable. So next steps, list the who you need for your offer based on your fulfillment models. List out the systems you'll need. Okay. Hiring systems, lead gen systems, appointment setting systems, sales systems, and then start building your client journey and checkpoints. Okay. So what I would recommend everyone to do is exactly this. So I did this probably a year and a half ago, and you basically map out in full. I can zoom in on this. You basically map out in full your entire client journey from head to toe. Okay. So like, what's the foundation? My offer, who I'm offering, my image, lead gen, whatever. Okay. And then onboarding, what's the fulfillment? Just map it all out. The retention. Okay. Very important to map all of this out for your fulfillment so that you have the system running. Okay. Just map it out. Okay. Don't ask questions. Just map it out. Okay. You can kind of copy this if you want. You can pause, zoom in, do what you got to do. But this is what I mapped out, and this is the system that I run and that I get the most success with. Okay. And then you gain offer from your feedback. Okay. So obviously any action you do is an input. Every input has an output, no matter if you like it or not. And with your outputs, you can derive feedback for your new inputs. Okay. So by tracking and monitoring your business and its processes, you'll collect feedback. Okay. That feedback will give you access to unique insights that only you have. Okay. Because they're unique. Leveraging these insights is powerful because you're bringing something new and unheard of to the marketplace, giving you a competitive edge no one else has. Okay, so you acquire a client, you build the infrastructure, you get the results, and then you get insights from helping that person or a collective group of people. Okay, that helps you help people more. So you make more the more people you help. It's kind of an upwards flywheel. So for example, Nate Belmar built Anime Shreds by collecting unconventional insights and turning them into a philosophy that stood out. Okay, so I made a video about Nate Belmar and his school community. He does I think $200,000, $300,000 a month with his school community, just like MRR straight up. And because the reason why he made that much money is because of so many unique insights about fitness. He's not talking about calorie counting. He's talking about ancient Chinese medical herbs, right? So why did it work? Because new is always wanted in the marketplace, okay? Everyone's always looking for the next solution, the next innovation, the next big thing. Nate got rewarded for bringing new insights into the market, making $200K a month, while the coaches who stayed with the herd, preaching keto or counting calories, blended in with hundreds of thousands doing the same thing and got little to nothing in return. Okay? Next, shift beliefs with content. Okay, so you gather feedback, you get unique insights. You build an incredibly valuable, attractive asset with those insights. Okay, you give it away for free. That asset is video, a YouTube video, Instagram content. Okay, maybe you can make a free school community. Okay, I ran free school community funnels all the time. I don't think that they're as effective as they used to be, but it's a way to give value, like this unique form of insight. Okay. Once you give that away, you get users, you get people who are interested that can, get people into your ecosystem. Okay. So your job is to take these unique insights you gain, bring them into the marketplace and educate people with them. Okay. You must create your own demand. Okay. So the 9-figure content flywheel, 9-figure, not 8. The more people who will experience the obstacle. So obstacle awareness, solution implementation, and then more people with the same desire. So the more people who will experience the obstacle, the more people who will look for a solution, the more people who will want the implementation, and the more people with the same desire. So use content to educate your audience and make them see the need for your offer. Content is insanely leveraged as it is a media asset. Produce content that educates, create your own demand, and post it on platforms where assets distribute themselves. I think YouTube is like an evergreen. You should 100% be posting on YouTube, running ads as well, but YouTube is crazy good, okay? The AGSA distributes itself and educates thousands of prospects from the one initial effort of producing it. Prospects get educated, inbound leads with less objections, higher demand with half the sales required just by funneling unique insights. If you look at my content, all of my content on my YouTube is about unique insights. How did I get those unique insights? Well, I got those unique insights by working with people. Okay? So, in summary, you'll need a leveraged offer, your build and release transformation, a leveraged fulfillment model, like I said, that 20-60-20. Leveraged education funnel, okay, where you're recycling these unique insights back into the marketplace. Okay? So what's the impact of gaining leverage through your offer? So without leverage, this is where you'll end up. You'll be the enslaved fitness coach. Okay? Low price, broke people, low commitment, people jumping on a sales call with you, in the car, driving, they don't give a shit, bad results. But with leverage, you have a premium offer, high ticket, committed people, okay, brand, more revenue, better talent working for you. Just way better of a process. I don't get how people would choose otherwise. Even though this seems easier to start with, it's actually not, okay? So something has to change in order to scale. So scaling with minimal leverage is very difficult, okay? If you want continual growth and evolution of the business, there needs to be continual growth and evolution of the processes that make up the business, okay? So marginal growth is 1-to-1, okay? You have no lever, no fulcrum, no, like, for example, leverage, lever, fulcrum, right? You have your fulcrum, your lever, where you put the fulcrum depends on how much leverage you get in physics, okay? You get more leverage by using the forms of leverage that I said: code, media, labor, capital, okay? And you can get these forms of leverage in parts of your business, such as your offer, your acquisition, your fulfillment, etc., to make more money. So if you're stuck, not able to scale, it's most likely due to lack of leverage. Every new level you want to scale requires you to access more leverage, okay? You need to reinvest back in leverage, and leverage is a form of knowledge. You don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know leverage or what leveraged actions to do within each of these stages, you need skills in the form of insights, okay? So case study, Alex Hormozi with Gym Launch, okay? Like I said, most gym owner or most like gym marketing businesses, what they were doing or are doing is they're basically offering like $1,000 to $2,000 a month for like agency services. Like Gym Launch is a marketing agency, okay? He didn't run like a premium consultancy for gym owners. It was a marketing agency, okay? Let's call a spade a spade. I ran a gym marketing agency myself for the longest time. I know what his business is. They run ads for gyms, okay? They package it a million different ways, but that's what they do, okay? And most marketing agencies are just doing the 1 to 2K a month, retainer. And most gyms want to hit 100K a month. That's only bringing the gym owners half the way. So what he did is he built the full build and release offer with the high pricing power, $16,000 for 16 weeks, which included like broke gym owner to 100K a month gym owner. So offer, lead gen, appointment, sales, fulfillment, all bundled up, full solution, full Pantheon solution, okay? And he launched it, and he was doing crazy, crazy numbers, okay? So front-end offer, 16K, high ticket price, best results in the industry, okay? And then the retention to Gym Lords, which was the 3.2K a month, which he had 1,000 people. It was like rumored between 700 to 1,000 people. Either way, still crazy. And basically, that upsell, downsell sort of thing to the 3.2K a month. Okay. Here's a personal case study of clients implementing offer leverage. One of my clients, Paul, went from 15K a month to roughly 64K a month. We changed Paul's offer entirely in a new segment and started getting traction from customers that were willing to pay 6K per program. Crazy. Okay. Like he was doing like 500 to 1,000 a month before. And then he just started, I'm like, dude, we have to build this out. We have to build this new offer and you have to sell 6K. I'm like, you are not allowed to pitch $500 to $1,000 a month. Okay. Jason went from 7K to 20K. Shane, 20K to 55. Okay. Even myself. Okay. Same process. And like I said, myself, I've done this myself. That's kind of like the same thing I'm talking about here in terms of like you're doing an action and you're gaining a unique insight and you're recycling it is the exact same thing I'm doing. Okay. So, right. I was in medical school. I was studying to become a doctor. Okay. I was going to lectures, I would eat liver because I would go to the grocery store and liver is like $5. I'd be like, okay, I'm eating liver and white rice. It's a $2-3 meal. Boom. Okay. Wanted to become a doctor, hated school. Because of my sadness, I decided to start a business. I started fitness coaching. This was actually me when I was 15. This was like my very first transformation photo. This right here, I was 155 pounds. Bulked up to 190 with a fucking face load of acne. Look at that. Boom, acne. Yeah. This was 15. This was probably like 16 and a half. And then this was me at 17 years old doing a bodybuilding show. This is me on the far left. This is me as well. Yeah, I know it seems like I may have been on steroids. And for 17 years old, I'm looking back at this and I'm like, damn, this is crazy because I don't even have the same physique now. But yeah, very locked in as a young guy, for sure. And I scaled my TikTok, right? I was like, I'm going to start helping people, fitness coaching, posting, same thing as everyone. Had a couple of videos that blew up. Forcing myself to post, kind of the same kind of thing as everyone. Forcing yourself to post, trying to do that, trying to make money on behalf of programming or getting people in person. Didn't really care, just as long as people paid me. I continually posted, especially when I didn't feel like it, because I knew the discipline with the gym would translate to my business, and I was wrong. And then I, remember sitting at my desk, and I was like, I have all these videos that blew up, posted all this content. How much money have I made from fitness coaching? I'm like, I've made nothing from it so far after doing it for 6 months. So then I had to reinvest in skills, had to gain insights by paying for them, and invested over 10K over the course of 3 months. And I was skipping class at the time. I was still in school. Then I was able to sign my first client for 3K, and that felt great after 6 months or so of cold outreach. Then I ended up dropping out of school. I was making 7K a month. Felt like a G. And then I was going to return back to school. But then I said, if I make 10K a month this summer, if I pass it, then I don't have to return back to school. In August, the month before I was supposed to return, I hit a 17K month, which was great. Bought a Rolex. Like, I remember literally spending 10,000, around 10 and a half K, K on this watch. Canadian dollars is like 7.5, 8K US on this fucking Rolex after making like my first cash, technically. It's kind of stupid, but whatever. And I was still living in my hometown or my college town in London. This was the house we lived at. And then for that entire year, everyone was at school and I was dropped out, still in the hometown. Talk about being in a psych ward. And then, making 50K in 30 days. And then a lot of the smart work, not hard work, paid off. Okay. Stopped trying to work harder, focused on gaining leverage, focused on gaining insights and tracking those insights from every client interaction, everything I do with my clients. I have a huge data sheet of where I track all this. And I was able to do that. Okay. And now here's some photos. These are kind of old photos, but you know, these actually really don't mean much if you think about it. Like travel a bit, you know, like travel a bit. These don't really mean much. Like, you know, this is me with one of my buddies, Sham. He's a high ticket closer. He's doing actually very good now. Mexico. This is in Mexico. This is in Miami. This is my car. Yeah. So I'm not trying to flex or anything. It's not really much to flex, regardless. But I would not be in the same position as I am today if I continued to stay stuck doing the same activities. Okay. Currently, I make 10 times more than I did by working 10 times less. Okay. Doesn't matter how hard you row, it matters what boat you get in. Warren Buffett quote. Great quote. So if you want to do the same, help more people, make more money, and actually enjoy life without needing to enslave yourself for 12 hours a day, okay, you need to apply everything covered in this video. Change doesn't come from speculating further, researching, or deciding. You have the information you need. At this point, the only way to improve your current situation is to actually take action on it. Okay? Growth is learning multiplied by action. Okay? You learned something today. You gained insights that took me pain to acquire. Okay? You got them for free without having to go through any pain or paying any money for them. Okay? You have two choices. The first choice is to do nothing about it. The second choice is to apply and take action on it and make money. Okay? So, my offer to you is, you know, you went through this video with me. I've tested hundreds of offers with real data, okay, in every niche in the fitness coaching space, in the health and fitness coaching space, holistic, you know, fertility coaching. We've worked with, you know, menstrual coaching. We've worked with postpartum coaching. I'm just naming some like super precise niches that maybe you know or you don't. Obviously, fat loss, obviously muscle building. Those are the big ones. But we have all of this data sitting that's waiting for people, for more people to work with us, so then we can work with more fitness coaches to help more people get in shape, feel better. At the end of the day, like I said that before earlier in this video, I kind of have recently realized this, but I genuinely enjoy helping fitness coaches, not from like a make money perspective, but genuinely, and I'm not asking you to believe this, but genuinely from the point of I have more leverage working with fitness coaches because I can now help more people. If I work with 5 fitness coaches and each of those fitness coaches have 10 clients, okay, hypothetically, that's 50 people I'm actually helping down the line. Okay, so I am helping. I feel blessed to be in this position. Okay, you don't have to believe it. Okay, but I have all this data. I'm going to put the link below for my Calendly. If you want to schedule a call with me, it's up to you. I'll walk you through the data within my business, how I can implement it in your business. We rely heavily on ads and content to help you scale past, you know, $50,000 a month, 100K a month, etc. Get you to points where you're making good money. I have, you know, clients who are in the hundreds of thousands of dollars per month range, you know, that are crushing. Okay, so if you want help implementing this in your business, go schedule a call with myself. I'll jump on with you. We'll chat for a bit, see if I can help. But nonetheless, take action, and I hope you got some value.